So this is going to be a quick video on how to get your tailstock trued up to your spindle on a lathe. So this particular one is set up. This is a hydraulic ram out of, I don't know, some piece of equipment. I went down to Spencer Hydraulics in my town and told them what I was looking for, and they said, "Oh, here you go," and they just hooked me up with one of these ones they had on the shelf. So that was pretty cool. I had no idea what I was going to use, but I wanted something that was really precise to test my center positions. So on this side, I have a Jet 14x40 lathe, and this is a Morse Taper 5 in the spindle. And on this side, it's a Morse Taper 3. So I have a Morse Taper 5 to Morse Taper 3 adapter, and then I put a dead center in there. On this side, I have a Morse Taper 3 live center in the tailstock. And you simply need to get these things positioned and get something really straight. I recommend one of these hydraulic shafts because they're precision ground. Since this is basically a piston inside of a hydraulic cylinder, it's got to be extremely smooth, so your surface finish is great and it's very precise. So I recommend getting one of these, and they're hardened like hell, so they're going to be nice and straight. Yeah. So anyway, I'd recommend picking up one of these guys, and yeah, that'd be a good thing to start. Next, what you're going to need is a dial indicator of some sort for you to run across the part and check its trueness. So ideally when you're done, you're going to run this from one side to the other, and your part's going to remain the same. And that's the goal. That when you move this, and actually this part's a hair loose. Let me just snug that up. When you move this from one side to the other, your dial should not move. And remember, if it moves a thousandths from one side to the other, it's actually 2/1000ths in diameter. So when you're cutting that, it has a large effect on your accuracy and precision. So right now, as we move this, we notice that we start off on the right, and we move over to the left, and we've dropped 5/1000ths. That means this side's actually off. And the reason I just went to true this thing up, but apparently I'd left it a little bit loose, and so it didn't detect that slop. But that's good for you guys because we're going to go ahead and walk through this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just set up the video at a different location over here on the tailstock so I can show you the adjustments needed. So again, let's go over this. Basically, you want to zero your dial indicator. I have a Noga indicator holder here. This thing, or magnetic base I should say, these are really nice, and they're about 120 to 160 bucks depending if you buy it new or used. I bought these new on Amazon, and I want to say it was around 120 for this one. And it's nice because it has 5 axis of movement, so you can move this thing around and do all kinds of crazy movements. And yeah, it's just really universal, I guess. And you don't have to do too much thinking. It basically does whatever you want. It's kind of like never mind. It's going to make some derogatory term towards a working woman in Russia. Anyway, you go ahead and get this thing all dialed in. Start on 0 on one side. Now I'm going to move this across the saddle, moving the saddle from the spindle towards the tailstock. And I was guessing that this thing was off, and I'm glad I found this, because my drill bits, I noticed when I brought them in with my chuck, when I have my Jacobs chuck on this side, they'd always creep towards the center, and I knew that it was off. And it looks to me like we're showing just under 5/1000ths of an inch off, so we're going to go ahead and take that adjustment out. I'm going to leave it just as is, and I'm going to adjust the Allen set screws on the tailstock. There's a set screw here, and then there's another screw on each side. There's one here and one on the opposite side of this. As you loosen one, you need to snug the other one up in order to keep everything nice and tight. So I'm going to show you that process. Actually, I'd like to have that dial indicator in the view. It's more important than you watching me turn some screws. So as I turn those, you're going to see this thing move. Ryan, do you know where that Allen is? This little guy. Okay, so if you have a Jet 14x40, this video is going to be pretty helpful for you, because if you haven't been trained as a machinist, I don't think you're going to pick up on this right away. I mean, who would guess that this is what you need to do to fix it? So I'm going to go ahead and start on one side. If you're in doubt, you don't know where to start, just start moving something. And remember, whatever you do on one side, you need to do the opposite on the other. So we see we're about at 0 now, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and snug them both up, make sure they're both tight. Keep in mind, when you set that set screw, it's probably going to throw your machine off. And that's kind of a pain, but it's part of the game. So I tighten one side up, and then I tighten the other up. Then I'm going to do the set screw. And remember, you don't do jerky motions in anything in this machining trade. You want to do everything nice and smooth. Everything's a nice, evenly applied torque. We're not in a rush. Everything takes forever. So we just do it nice and smooth. So I've got all these screws tightened. If you do them jerky, you'll see the dial shift back and forth. That didn't happen that time, so I was fortunate. Now I'm gonna just move this guy from the tailstock towards the spindle. See if we have any movement. Started off at 0. And we're about a 1 thou difference. And 1 thou just means 1/1000th. Now, I'm going to go ahead and try to get rid of that damn thing. Because 1/1000th is actually 2/1000ths. And 2/1000ths is not cool when you're trying to hold 1/1000ths tolerance. So, but we're really damn close. Very, very close. So, in order to get on with the spindle, we have to decrease this side 1/1000th of an inch. But I'm actually only going to do 5/10,000ths, I should say. So, excuse the jargon. If you're not used to this stuff, it can be confusing hearing somebody talk about this and that. So I'm just going to adjust this about halfway between one of these marks. So each mark is 1/1000th of an inch. So that means that halfway should be about 5/10,000ths of an inch. And that's that right there. So if I can snug this set screw without throwing that off, I'm guessing that if I reset this guy to 0 and move it from the tailstock again towards the spindle, we're going to be right on the money. Really damn close to it. Okay, so I'm right on 0. Gonna move this guy one more time. Damn. Right back where I was. I don't know how I messed that up, but it's not a big deal. I am unable to lose my patience at this stuff because setup time is where you make your money. If you try to cut corners here, you will screw yourself, because it will definitely rear its ugly head in your work. Move this bastard back to 0. Excuse my language, any kids that are listening. Alright, now look at that. Right on 0. Okay, we have properly trued the tailstock to the spindle. So let me touch base really quick on why this might be off. Perhaps somebody was turning a taper, and this is a great thing to do that on. So if you want to do a taper, you can adjust these Allens off as much as you want your taper. So you figure out how many thousandths per inch taper you want, and you do your math and figure it out. I'm not going to do a class on that right now. But anyway, that's how you set it up. If you guys have any questions, leave comments below. I'll be happy to teach you what I know. I'm not an extremely experienced machinist, but I have had some formal training, and yeah, this is very helpful. So hopefully you find it that way.